everyone. Thanks for coming in and checking out another stream of consciousness, another SOC, and we're at Lucky 13.
Yay.
Hi, I am Smoking in G sharp, and this is Lisa Houserman. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm delightful. Good to be here again in the Oregon, Pennsylvania SOC. Woo.
Correcto.
At any rate, I'm going to leave my light on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so I can see the possum action. Because this is a possum crossing.
She has the most adorable possums. If you haven't seen them, please go over and check out some of her. I mean, they are adorable. They're what we call tamed, hand-fed.
Yet wild.
Basically, they're wild, but they're tame and they're adorable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it because Thomas has been coming around since the middle of July, literally, and he was, we think, 5 months old. Now he's big. So, anyhow, here we are together again.
Yes, we are. I'm so glad.
Oh, me too. It's a relief to get certain things off our chests or what have you.
That's right. And exclusively here on the SOC channel, as we've tried to explain to everyone, we're kind of using this channel as our burner phone because we want to be able to say whatever we want and not fret that they're going to mess with us.
And they have been messing with people like the Last American Vagabond, and he saw it coming. And a bunch of others have been taken down. Even if I'm not a QAnon person by any stretch of the imagination. However, I don't think they should have been taken down. First of all, I think there's several reasons for this. Now I'm going to launch, but that's the whole idea. I think sometimes they take channels down to loan legitimacy to the channel. People will say, oh my God, they must have been right about subject X or Y. Why would they take them down? And of course, another reason is just strictly to keep you from seeing anything outside of the mainstream. I think it can go either way. I'm not just talking about QAnon. I'm talking about in general.
Yes.
Like,
I've always heard the saying that, when you're catching flack, that must be you're flying over the target.
right.
But there's also those rumors too that some channels are taken down because they are psyops and they're trying to make them look legit.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like, certain people. I don't want to say anything because, people get very attached to their favorites.
Yeah, I have a few that I dabbled with many, many years ago, and I think they were more legit. They were young channels, and I think with anything, if they become big enough, somehow that dark shadow comes in.
I think so too. A lot of people really judge, like a lot of the alternative people, like Shill Destroyer too, for example. I mean, very on target and says what he feels and all. He often will kind of not judge, but is leery, let's say, of channels that have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers that are supposed truth channels. I don't even like the word truth with any of this. It's been poisoned. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I mean, a truther. Just Mick asked me, "Am I a truther?" I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I'm like, "No, I don't know what am I? A seeker? I'm a joker. I'm a smoker. I'm a midnight toker. I don't know." But that truth label, I'm searching for knowledge and actual facts. So whatever that makes me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. As I'm walking away from the indoctrination and their way of thinking, I'm also walking away from labels,
Yeah, leave labels at the door. Yep.
Yeah, you have to because it's a part of the indoctrination,
Yeah.
This is a book sticker, this is a window sticker, this, you got to put stickers all over people? No.
Exactly. It actually kind of makes it so you what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of clouds up your research ability if you already have, like, call yourself something, or I don't know if that makes any sense, but like say that I was a total flat earther. Totally blah blah blah, that's it. And that then it might cloud my ability to maybe see different layers, that it still could have an electrical component, or some of these things can be true but presented in a different way. Sometimes people get stuck on something and can't see outside of that anymore, even though it's off the beaten path.
No, it's
I don't
true.
know if I'm explaining that very well. I have kind of a headache.
No, I get that. Well, I think it is kind of human nature to want to ground yourself in some belief. And we talked about beliefs are kind of our own internal enemies at times. you
Yeah,
know,
belief is the enemy of knowledge.
it is. I agree. And but we want to lock ourselves. It helps us define our reality.
Yeah.
So even if our old belief wasn't right and our new belief isn't right, we're going to kind of lock ourselves into that until we can make the next step. So I give people room for holding on.
Mhm.
However, when they start belittling and criticizing and labeling others' ideas as no good,
Oh, yeah.
then it's turning into an ego struggle. Basically, it's an ego something there.
Yeah,
And
I agree. And like, I mean, sticking with the flat earth, and I'm just using that as an example because I haven't drawn any conclusions about that jazz. There's interesting things in both ways, but there could be a third or fourth or fifth thing. You know what I mean? Um, I'm like you. I don't like if people just use it to come in and like call names like, oh, you're a globe head, or if you don't, flat's the only way to go. And it causes a lot of division.
exactly. And then it's like I said, it's just simply showing the ego. Uh, because if you're ready to latch onto that belief, let's just use flat Earth. You latch onto that belief, and there is a more. There always is more. That's the rule of
More
nature.
than two choices. I mean,
Oh,
I learned that a long time ago.
yeah, and there's things that the whomevers know that we don't know, and there's things that they don't even know. So, it's okay to latch onto that so you form your reality. I totally get that. But, walk through life humbly,
Right.
Socrates did say everything in moderation, and the other door said, know thyself. So I guess we're going into Aquarius, and I want to talk a bit about that. We're going into Aquarius, and we need to, open up and be a little more humble on our road.
I think so too, because people do get stuck. I mean, I've been convinced of things in the past, like when I was in the political paradigm, that I just knew I was right, and then I left that particular political belief system, went to another one, and I knew I was right then too. So, I've done it. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I'm not trying to be critical of others.
Oh,
It's because I've been there and done that.
oh, I've been on both sides of that coin. I've been critical because others were not thinking like me, and I've been the one, kind of nailed down somehow because I'm not thinking like them. It
Well, I'll tell
happens
you,
in life. Yeah.
but on the other hand, out of the many, um, in this day and age, it makes me a little bit upset that people don't look out of the mainstream narrative for, say, what's going on here with the thing known as the CV alleged pandemic that's unfolding. I don't think there's any reason to not at least check stuff out. Okay, I'm going to come up here and talk about this. Let's make sure that I'm moving. Is this moving? Hello? G Sharp, are you
Yes,
there?
you got it. I'm sorry, I was already out of the picture.
Okay, I'm covered up right now. You can't see me, right?
Yes, I can. Do you want me to do the full cover? Sure.
Yeah, if you want to, or I can just make my camera go. I'll do this. Okay. Now, every day I sign up for these emails from Jon Rappoport. It's Jon Rappoport. And it's his entry for his blog. And you can read it right in your email. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I will provide a link. But I really do recommend that you sign up for these because he's been investigating the criminals at the CDC. I'm going to speak freely, and the World Health Organization, who he has concluded they're basically fronts for the pharmaceutical cartel. He's been on that case since, I believe, about 1987. So I just thought that I would let people know that this virus, what they're calling the COVID-19, has not been isolated. And it's not alone in its non isolation. They have such a hold over the public with the germ theory. For well over 100 years, all of us have been indoctrinated into this germ theory. And there are other reasons, of course, why people get sick, but people don't look into it because all our lives we've been told, you're going to catch this from that person and wash your hands and, don't get dirty if you play in the mud, whatever. You understand what I mean? So, anyhow, I'm just going to read a little bit of this. I'm a little groggy tonight, so excuse my being punchy. Okay, I will not read the whole thing because it's quite long. Recently, I've written a series of articles revealing that the existence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus is unproven. I've quoted key CDC and study documents that confess, quote, the virus is unavailable, which is like an ice company saying they have no access to water. I've published quotes from Dr. Tom Cowan's major article exposing how CDC journal authors assemble, and that's in quotes, the idea of a virus from cobbled sequences they assume are parts of SARS-CoV-2. Below, I reprint my article on his shocking findings. I might paraphrase a bit. Pardon. Now, I want to make overall comments on the con, the game, the hustle. The public and most medical professionals are awed by the whole concept of genetic sequencing. They accept the process as a holy of holies. If researchers in their lab claim they've sequenced the virus must exist. I don't know if that's highlighting. I hope it is. How else could its genetic structure have been discovered? Is it highlighted?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool. Of course, the virus doesn't have to exist at all. We are talking about an illusion, stage magic. And if we could force him to explain his trick, the magician would say, quote, notice I begin with a fragment of RNA. I assume it's part of a larger new virus. My assumption isn't proven. I simply make a claim. Then I lay out the genetic structure of that little piece of RNA, and I discover I need a great more genetic information to fill out the sequence of the whole virus, end quote. Well, actually, it's still going. That's not really discovery. I already knew I'd need much more. The question is, where am I going to get that added information? The answer is from databases. These bases contain miles of sequences that have already been established, rightly or wrongly, sequences of other viruses. Which sequences do I choose? I make guesses. I make assumptions. Actually, I choose according to a storyline that has already been laid down. In this case, a story about a member of the coronavirus family. That's right. I always knew what I was going to look for. In fact, that initial piece of RNA I began with, I could have selected all sorts of other pieces of RNA, but I chose that one because it seemed to be from the coronavirus family. Does this whole business sound like a Lego or a Tinker Toy operation? Well, it is. I never have a physical specimen of the virus. I never isolate the purported virus from all the material that surrounds it. I just assume or pretend the virus is in there. Anyhow, I now select all sorts of genetic sequences from the huge database, and I hook the sequences together as if they were already connected and real and waiting for me to find them. They weren't, but I pretend they were. That pretense is the key. It's like selling a sucker a map leading to a lost silver mine. There was never a map. The con artist cobbled it together from pieces of other old maps of a territory in the mountains of Colorado. The map looks real, it looks whole, but it was never whole. The genetic sequence of the virus is that map. It's made to look like one long code that was there all along, but it wasn't, it isn't. Every good magic trick works this way. The magician makes the audience believe he is performing one smooth operation, but he isn't. He's taking all sorts of detours. He's reaching into his sleeve and pulling out a card. He's palming that card so no one sees it. He's slipping the card into the deck in his other hand, and all the while, he's talking confidently and making other gestures to distract the audience. The whole purpose of the trick is to inspire awe. In the lab, the same principle applies. The researchers seem to find one long genetic sequence of a whole virus. Astonishing. But that's not what happened, not by a long shot. And notice one other very important thing. In the lab, we are actually piecing and cobbling together the pattern, the code of a virus. We don't have to deal with actual genes. What we do is all on the level of, God, what is that word? Ideational? Is that a word? Ideational.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm not alone then. Construction, we're hooking up data. So that's another level of the trick. We're not stringing together pieces of material. We're stringing together pieces of data from genetic databases. This would be like standing on a stage in front of an audience and doing a very clever card trick without having a deck of cards in the first place. Now that's a trick for the ages. Okay. With all this in mind, read my previous article on Dr. Tom Cowan's shocking discoveries. And then he goes in to all this. Now, let me just jump around a little bit, but I am going to supply the link to this, or at least to the nomorefakenews.com, and that's where you'll find Rappoport. You don't have to agree with him on everything in life. I mean, he writes other things about like, oh, the Matrix revealed and stuff like this, but he is absolutely on target with this, his investigative work with the CDC. I mean, just like you can disagree with David Icke on certain things, but he's been very much on target with this whole psychological operation, and that's exactly what it is. So basically, I think I'll probably end right here because it's really long. Now, his emails are not this long every day, ladies and gentlemen, but this one just kind of, sorry, road noise. Whoa. It was, extremely long because he's going over other things that he already, has talked about in the past. I mean, he's done hundreds of articles on this whole thing. Totally. So that's it. That's just what I wanted to share with you. And
Yeah, that's great. No, and you're absolutely right. Jon Rappoport, he has been in the reporting business for, oh my gosh, I picked him up, I think I want to say 2010, 2011.
yeah, 87, he started with this. And I mean, this whole CDC and all that, it is a front for the pharma companies. We're in a pharmaceutical cartel, and he thinks that he's been saying for decades, you've got to watch out for the medical martial law.
You're right. He is one that has been pointing that forever.
Yeah.
And he is absolutely correct. Look where we're at now. And yes, we are under a regime that gets us when we're up through legal prescriptions and gets us when we're down through the illegal drug trade with the cartels.
Yeah.
They are bringing it in both ways. This is how they're funding themselves. If people don't get it, America is the big gun and drug runner.
Oh, yeah. And look, this legalized, dope that due to the big pharma or whatever. I sometimes forget how many people are medicated in this country and children. This whole thing with children and the masks and going to school, it's child abuse. I'm just going to say it.
It is. It's ridiculous to put children on pills because what? They're overactive and won't sit in their chairs? Well, I didn't either.
That's because they're in an institution called school. I mean, I unschooled Spencer. That's one good thing I did with that kid. Damn it.
It is a great, yes, because, well, I went through the indoctrination of just your low end public school. It wasn't very good education. And matter of fact, I was just talking about this with Brant on a previous video.
I live for him.
I know he's really great. He's got some really good history points. Love that guy for that. And he brought in the fact that, public schools started in the 1830s. It was brought over from Prussia.
Prussia, right.
They had a very strict indoctrination system that the whomevers, Washington, you name, just pick a framer. They all liked because they knew it was the next generation they could really get to, seal the deal on how they wanted people to think in society. They
Right.
got that.
I should let you take a full screen and I'll fly in and get a couple of books that I can
Okay.
find on my shelf. And
Okay.
it's about the whole school thing. I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay, please do. And I'm going to just, while you do, I'm going to take this to the side. I was thinking, everybody, if there was that apocalypse, that real dystopian future that could possibly happen because of the collapse. You pick away how it's collapsing. I think it is going down by many ways and means. But I thought to myself, what was the one thing that I was really, really going to miss in life? And for me, it's cheese. I went and got this photo a little map here. I'm going to enlarge it. I am going to miss my European cheese. I love Havarti. Oh my gosh. What else do they? Oh, fromage. Oh, and cave age Gruyere. Oh my gosh. Here's the brie, of course, in French. Oh my gosh. My family is from the Parmigiano area. I am
Sorry, I
a
was muted.
northern Italian. I'll miss that. But I was just talking to him that if we ever have, a total collapse of society, I'm going to miss my European cheese.
Right. So that's just a cheese map.
Yeah, European cheese map. I could go other countries, but I just chose this. Do you like cheese?
Oh my gosh, I live for it. I'm like, that's why Thomas likes it. He takes after me.
Yes, I do. I love cheese. I'm going to miss this if we can't get some import. Oh, anyway, I just had to put that out there. This was my little commercial break.
Oh, cool. Good. Yeah. I just wanted to talk about this guy quickly because
Sure.
I bet you Brant knows about him. This John Holt was this takes me back to the days of live lounging when I held stuff up. John Holt was like the New York City school teacher of the year several years in a row. But he became or was an advocate of unschooling, child-led learning. This one's called Instead of Education and then Learning All the Time. And this is basically autodidactic. Is that how you say it? Autodidact. How do you say that?
It sounds right. Autodidactics.
Yes, like self-taught people.
Oh, yes.
That's
I
yeah.
got I got a small education, small degree, but I'm actually self-learned.
Yeah, so I think I'm an autodidactic, even if I can't say it. I know I am, for heaven's
Yeah.
sake. I did terrible in school, but I mean, I'll just want to read you his bio quickly and then I'll be done with my bloviating. John Holt, the most striking thing about John's writing is its firm, straightforward, good sense. He never derives theory from theory, but stays as close as possible to experience himself. His entire career was really based on this making sense of experience. I think that's good. One of the finest things about him was his underlying motive of all that thought. He truly wanted to make the world a better place for mankind. And anyhow, he was an award winning teacher who did not accept the official take out your books at 2 o'clock and look up this historical fact, whatever. And so that's how we did Spencer was the unschooling method. It was child led learning.
Excellent.
And so
I told
he never rode a school bus. He's never been like indoctrinated into that. I feel kind of bad talking that way because a lot of people can't do the homeschooling or for one reason or another. I'm not trying to be rude about it. I'm not trying to be mean to teachers because a lot of the teachers do this kind of method in the school or try to. You know what I
yes.
mean?
There's
So,
some good teachers. I had a few really good
oh, me
teachers
too.
that opened me up. The good thing I did like about school is it does teach you how to be social around people.
Well, in a way.
In a way, yes,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Um, but you don't have to necessarily have a full formal education just to teach children how to be, social.
Well,
You
right.
can
And go
go
ahead.
ahead. I
I
was just gonna.
insist you go.
Oh, we're on the same wavelength
Oh,
tonight.
you go.
That's
'Cause
you go, you go.
I've done
Okay,
enough talking.
that's a Portlandia joke. Yes, there is a way to do this, whether it's through, oh, by George and by golly, sports and exercise, dances, music and arts. There's all kinds of way to get kids into being social with each other and having fun and not having to have competition in the sense of who's wearing what as they're walking down the hallways kind of thing. That's
Right,
what really drove
exactly.
me.
Yeah, the whole deal with the social aspect is that generally speaking in life, you don't hang out with people your exact age all the time. As you get older, like you might hang out with, I have a few friends with whom I graduated or whatever. We're still friendly, now. But in general, like in the workplace, you might have somebody younger, older.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah, these were some of the objections we had to overcome when people were very concerned about Spencer socializing. Of course, he went into the Boy Scouts and he had a good experience with them, by the way. Nothing dirty went on. I know there's a lot of controversy there, but thank God he did have a good time in Scouts.
Very good. Yes.
It's,
Yeah,
there's been
it's
some,
not everything is corrupted. It's unfortunate though that there's just that share that makes it bad for everything. You
Right.
know, these days one person can really ruin it for the rest of us. It's just the way they roll it.
Exactly. Well, he had some good,
But
what are they, counselors, I guess, or whatever, leaders. And they,
nice.
they didn't, because I think that's kind of runs wild in that organization. The children thing, you know, the men liking the children thing. I don't want to say too much. I've
No,
already done.
it's anything with children, whether it is those types of organizations, schools, churches. They attract those types. They go
Yeah,
to children like magnets. So there they are. We just have to find a really good way to weed them out. There
right.
you go.
Yep.
Put something there that is, I don't know. I don't know what to say
Some
at this
sort of
point, but
detector, I'm sure.
yeah, something. We're missing something here. That's all I gotta say.
Well, it's pretty popular in a lot of the areas and used for blackmail. But anyhow, it's your turn. I feel like I've had
Oh,
the whole show.
no, don't feel that at all. Okay, I'll bring something up. I hope you don't mind. Two things, well, three, but this one, because I'm a recent don't believe NASA anymore.
There you go.
And I wanted to call BS on this. I want to just check this out. Make sure it's off. Just watch this. We just landed on an asteroid. I want you to see this. We spent all this money to land on an asteroid, and that's all they're showing us. Okay, my second clue here is, let me see, I want to catch it before. That's all they're showing us. Is again, it's in black and white. It's like,
Yeah,
Lucy, we're going to the moon again. That's how I feel
yeah.
on that one. I was just totally, I'm going to go to this one next. I was just totally disappointed that they're selling us this crap.
Before you go on, I have to tell you, I remember you and I, and the audience will probably get a kick out of this. You and I were talking. It was early on in our uh, partnership, I guess,
Yeah,
friendship,
yeah.
and you you said something about oh, Elon Musk, blah blah blah. And I said, oh my god, that's so fake. And you're like, do you think it's fake? It was so cute. You're like all taken aback. Do you think that's fake? And I'm like, oh my god, the Tesla car in space.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that
it is so fake.
I never bought the car. No, it was this new it was yeah, we were just talking because I was just kind of coming around to like, oh my gosh, everything. I doubted kind of some of the 60s and 70s Apollo moon landings.
Yeah,
And that was just six of one to me because I really thought, oh, by now they've got this program, they're just not telling us. And then the SpaceX, and I go, oh my gosh, this is just so phony baloney. You can see the B-rated movies, and they're catching them right and left. They're
it's
showing
just
wires. They're showing that it's what do you call it, imposed on the back of something, so
yeah,
their hands disappear. Their feet are not there because they're not totally in the picture.
yeah.
It's that cheap. And what gripes me, this is where I'm at now. I have to get on my little high horse here. We are paying them on the average of $52 million a month to run NASA.
You kind of froze
And
up
where's
there
all
for a
the
minute.
money going?
Yeah, to
Okay.
something secret. Yeah. Anyhow, it was just a cute memory, is all. But Elon Musk himself said, it's so fake looking, it must be real. He said that in the press conference about that Tesla car in space. Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
They do. They have to tell you the truth while they're lying because they can't. It's some people just can't stand it. They've got to, be snide or they're just not good liars. I know. It's just I'm really disappointed. I hope I don't freeze up. I'm trying not to. The next thing that I'm going to is on UFO Mania. I'm going to, oh, let me take this down again because I have to bring up. I'm going to play this. And like I said, this is, if, I don't think they'll throw a fit. I hope they don't. Let me bring that one up. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to play it because this is what I have been saying for a long time I'm going on, again, 10, 11 years saying that this happened and they covered it up.
I agree.
Around the turn of the 20th century, the New York Times, London Globe, and Scientific American published articles purporting the discovery of gigantic human skeletons, concluding that the remains were sent to the Smithsonian for further study. But the fact that this evidence was never again seen or reported, continues to elicit questions of whether the Smithsonian destroys giant skeletons in order to cover up an inconvenient anomaly in the archaeological narrative we've been told. The question has been heatedly debated over the past century or more, with researchers finding what appears to be corroborating evidence, while skeptics say the bones were simply those of massive prehistoric animals, reclassified by the Smithsonian and displayed in museums to this day. And while physical evidence remains tenuous, there is a seemingly endless trail of written and anecdotal suggestion that a larger race of humans once walked the earth. Though it may not be immediately obvious, the Smithsonian Institution is an extension of the U.S. government with congressional members sitting on its board of regents. It was initially founded as an establishment for the increase and diffusion of knowledge among men, at the endowment of philanthropist, chemist, and mineralogist James Smithson. And while it's not a regulatory agency, it is so intrinsically tied to government that it claims immunity from state and local regulations, as well as immunity from lawsuits unless authorized by Congress. The Smithsonian was established in 1846, and was tasked with the mission of organizing the anthropological history of the United States. It is sometimes referred to as the nation's attic, as it has amassed somewhere in the range of 154 million items between its myriad museums, research centers, and various facilities. But with phrases like diffusing knowledge, coming from a government agency that's been influencing the course of history since the Eurocentric days of Manifest Destiny.
I'll stop it.
Oh my God. The reason why I was freaking out, I was chewing on something, but I was pointing and everything. Can you back that up to that Tartarian building that is the Smithsonian?
Let's see here.
Even there, everywhere.
Mention of the U.S. government with.
Yes, look at this.
Yeah, that doesn't look like something that could be built. And the inside too, and then on the stamp.
Oh yeah, no, they totally been taking over everything. These are the leaders of that, what is it, disillusion of knowledge. They're diluting the knowledge.
I didn't know this about the Smithsonian can't do lawsuits or whatever.
Yeah, isn't that a clincher? Didn't know that either till I saw this. And it's like, once again, the ones you can't mention and the ones you can't touch are the ones that are doing all of this stuff.
I know. I'm going to look for another picture of that because I want to see if that looks, as they say, mud flooded.
Am I stuck?
I don't know. Let me come back and look. Hello? Yeah, you are stuck. No, say something.
This is dragging. Yeah.
Okay,
you're stuck too.
Am I really? Okay. But you can
hear us. There we go.
Okay.
Is that what I need to do, is get out
I don't know, but you can at least hear us.
Oh, now, that was weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
God. I so want to share this.
Yes, I'll put the link down in the description. And it's on, here, let me roll it up a little bit. It's UFO Mania. The truth is out there. And it's a really recent one today. So, yeah, please do check this out. It's like coming out that what I've been saying for, 10, 11 years, that they are one, and the Vatican, that are finding these things, and if they're not hiding them, they're just destroying them because they know the real history. They don't want us to know the real history, and they don't want us to know that they still have artifacts. They have, if not on paper, they actually have the actual widgets and items. They've just been waiting for the right people to figure out how to use them and recreate them. That's how we're
This
getting.
is wild. I have a screen ready to share if you're, because I just
Mhm.
want to look at these pictures of the Smithsonian.
Absolutely. Let me share yours. Let me
For
take.
those who have no clue of what I speak, there's a lot of researchers out there. Michelle Gibson, JonLevi, AutoDidactic. He's one something about I forget the name of it, but they're looking into why do these structures not really fit in with supposedly when they were erected, like the time period. Like you'll have these beautiful buildings, like the Smithsonian here. I can't really make it bigger, I don't think. Let me see. Oh yeah, I can. Look, um, that don't really fit in with. There'll be horses and buggies and all this jazz, and then this beautiful building, and they usually have below the ground windows, loaning to the idea there was some sort of liquefaction event that might be less poisonous than saying the mud flood word. That unfolded. A lot of people think it was in the mid 1800s, but look at this. I mean, I think this is a rendering, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
that I,
I'm telling you, the Smithsonian is the leader on diluting history. They're the magicians you were just talking about in the pharmaceutical world. These are the magicians in our history world. They've been hiding and doing all this stuff so we don't know what really happened. Because the bottom line here is with humans, the more ignorant we are, the less we know, the more they have control over us. And I think that's part of this new move with this new, you know, COVID takeover, is because I think there's some panic going on. I think we're getting a more educated audience sitting in the theater, and they're trying to really pull some control moves here. That's all I got to say.
can you see this?
Yeah, I can.
I made it really big. And look across the street, you've got the dome, you've got looks like below the ground windows, and you've got this.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Unreal. I'm sorry, I always get off onto this because I just am so fascinated with it.
Yeah.
I have not drawn a conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, but here I can get out of here.
Yeah, they control all of our knowledge and history, and we can't touch them.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I always learn stuff from you.
I, me too, with you. We
Oh, I
always.
got to tell you something while I have you. My chat is finally up for the live gig. Cloudy Sunshine left a comment and I got it. The
Oh,
live
good.
gig was Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. It's now what, Thursday night?
I know. I don't know why everybody's saying their YouTube is just crazy. It's just crazy, and I think part of it might be intentional, just to make us get irritated, play
It
with
could
our
be.
heads. Yeah, I think just a
Oh,
little irritation.
I have a theory I want to share with y'all.
Sure.
Okay. In terms of the alleged pandemic, there's so much information out there now that even like across the pond, some of the mainstream journalists are actually saying, hey, wait a minute, there's something odd going on here. Richie Allen reported on it, for example. Do you think there's a possibility that, see, I don't think that things just come out. I think that anything we find out, they're allowing us to find out,
I
like
think
them,
it's.
the whomevers.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering, would there be a motive there that everybody finds out this has been a giant hoax and they get mad and they hit the streets and start protesting big time, legitimately. And then an FBI person gets in and makes it look bad, like they do. Proven.
Mhm.
It's been proven. And then they call in the army for martial law or something.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
possible at all? Or am I completely out in left field? I probably am.
No, 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 no. A lot of people are thinking just that. They're
It
very
just
concerned.
seems,
They're
yeah.
going to step it up either with our own martial law or a UN martial law, and that's really bad news if that rolls in. And of course, you know, people forget, what was it, 2015 or 16, they did that exercise called Jade Helm.
Yeah, I don't know much about that.
Yeah, they did an exercise through the country and they used what I heard Walmarts as detention centers. And there are still Walmarts that have closed down, but yet
Know
they
that.
still remain functioning and they've got air conditioning and barbed wire pointing in.
Yeah, I did hear about the Jade Helm, but at that point, like 2015, I was in the political paradigm and I called myself a progressive. And so I thought a lot of that was just crazy. And I was very much a scientism. I was a worshiper of science. And I thought that had to be a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, of course we do.
Even though I had been into conspiracies for a while and then I got out of them. And then, because I was very much believing everything from the mainstream white coat society.
Yeah, we've all fallen under that spell.
Spell, right.
That's fine. And it's funny you said that because I have this thing that I bring up a lot. I'm sorry if I'm beating this to death, but every time I look at this,
Oh, right.
I see more and more. As you can see, the very first card, the Tower. When it first came out in 17, I'm going, okay, Russia against the church. It didn't make sense, but now I see clearly it's Antifa against the Patriots. And the church is closed. There's a notice on the door.
Yeah, there is.
And the second card, I'm just guessing here. By the way, people, I am a political atheist. I do not believe in either mob.
I am too, and I have the paperwork to prove it.
She does. And I'm going to get the paperwork. I don't vote anymore because I really think it is all predetermined, right down to what taxes are going to pass. Because
Absolutely.
They all
Yeah.
seem to pass lately here. So anyway, but getting back to this, I think possibly Trump will win. They're showing him here as the sitting president. And that's usually a term you put on somebody who gets the second term.
Okay, yes.
Okay. They won their sitting president in office. The third card I was looking at very, very hard. Let me bring this one up a little more magnetized here. This one, first of all, ties in, I believe, Washington, the Vatican, and the Bank of London. They're the three aquatic triplicities that run the world. And see how they're tied together with knowledge, books, education. I think this is the arts, higher reasoning. And of course, this is movies, television, whatever. And they're like tied into this. But what struck me further was look at the sun.
Yeah.
Does this not look like we're under a dome?
Oh, yeah. It kind of does. Yeah. A lot of the people who accept the flat Earth
Yes.
think that the domes on buildings and things are because of that.
Representation of the firmament. And I'm going, wow. Okay. Now I've hit this last card, the Hermit. But yes, as you just said, Lisa, I think they're going to escalate the protests to the point where the one percenters, as you can see, they're up high, they're away from things, something in that regard. But I want to just bring up one more card here. I can keep going, but
And while you're going, I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't necessarily embrace, everything we're talking about here. People will clutch pearls and freak out, but I like to expand my mind and think of the possibilities. We've been lied to big time, and at the end of the show, I'll show you just a little example of it. So
Yes.
that's why I don't freak out if somebody doesn't accept the heliocentric, I think they call it, the regular standard model. Doesn't
Right.
bother me. I'm not,
yeah, we're not trying, live in the world that you're most comfortable with. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
And know that right now my mind is very open. I don't know what we're on, but I can certainly tell you we've been lied to about it.
We're on
Something is
drugs.
Yes, there's some. Anyway, lastly, with the death card, as you can see, there's the mosquitoes. They always represent pestilence, which is viruses, and there's the atom bomb kind of thing going off. But by the way, there was something very similar to this in Beirut recently.
Oh, yeah.
Also, at the very bottom, you see the fish in the little canal. It's dying. There's no water left. I personally think this is a representation that this is the end of Pisces. We're stepping over that last little dry bed creek, and Pisces is getting out of the way. I really think our timeline is off, and I really think we're closer to Aquarius than they want us to know. But also, again, look at the sun behind here. It is almost like, the rays of the sun. It looks domish to me.
This is so weird to look at stuff this way. Like, will you go back up to that other one just so I can look again?
Yeah.
It really does. And you know what? Somebody did a video recently where they showed the Walt Disney logo, and you know how they have that arch above it?
Yes.
They said, like, what could this be? It was just, I don't know. I just like to look at things in a different way is all. All right. Thank you. Go on.
No, and I'm glad you bring those things up because, Lisa, they do put this stuff right in our face. We just don't see it. We just don't. How could you comprehend that? The last thing on this card, too, if you notice, there's like a picture up here. It's like the arts and the book, the good book, the Bible. I don't know what this represents, but it's like out of their reach. It's like this is what they can control.
Oh.
And this is something they can't. Is it the Bible? Is it going to, and our history? Does this represent history? Something's going, they can't grab, they can't control.
What cards are these? I'm really dumb when it comes to this.
Yeah, I picked this off of the 2017 Economic Magazine. This is their tarot cover. And I've been studying it for years because I think they knew in 17 what's rolling out now.
Oh gosh, there was a lot of, they've even had, like, there was a TV show that showed empty shelves, people wearing masks, all of it. It's crazy. I'm going to share one more thing on our way out.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I want you to be done. I just want to show people how deeply they've been.
Yes, absolutely.
And how you have to be able to look at things and really see what's happening, but a lot of people can't because it could mean that, that the implications are horrific.
Well, here's the deal. I don't know why the lie began about where we're at in the universe and our planet and everything, but they've gained control over us through the massive fear factor. They've put us on this little speck going around something really huge that's always on fire that travels 11,000 miles an hour, and we're just hanging on like a little tail off of a kite in the wind, and we're in this vast universe, and we mean nothing to no one for naught. That's where they want us. If we're on something that has thought and structure, then we know we have a creator, and they don't want that. They're pulling us away from that idea as fast as they can.
I've definitely heard that quite a bit, and I just was talking to you, I guess, about it. Oh, okay, here we go. We'll go back to the beginning here. All right. This is Dr. Judy Wood's website, and she did a 500-page book and a court case about 9/11. Now, a lot of people have never even heard of the woman. So I'm just going to play this slideshow, and I'm going to provide the link. And it just shows, like Peter Jennings asked, where's all the rubble? Various things here, but you can look. Oh, I'm going to go back one. Excuse me. In here, it's kind of hard to see, I bet. So I will supply this. But you can see how, buildings 1 through 7, actually 1 through 7, not just 1, 2, and 7, mainly turn to dust in midair. And there's seismic evidence of this and all kinds of jazz. But look at this. People were told to see a collapse, and they did. Does that not look like a fountain shooting up? And then you have, of course, all this paper and stuff that didn't burn. You had fires that were anomalous, so to speak. This says what society thinks happened, what truthers think happened was bombs. But as she points out, not everything that goes boom is a bomb. Although bombs do go boom. That could have been a water tank. It could have been whatever. And what really happened is what she's called dustification. She kind of coined that word because if you call it something else, then you're prejudicing your findings already. And you can see these turning to dust as they go down, as they fall. It's absolutely, when Spencer and I, she calls it fuming instead of smoke. When Spencer and I, because for years we thought that the truthers were right, I guess you'd say. And when we found her research, this is how I got to be friendly with Andrew across the pond and some other people. Osama is very much a student of hers, I guess you'd say. I don't know how to explain. But this shows what was left. And this is what they got away with, ladies and gentlemen. So if you think they wouldn't fake a virus, then I don't know what to say to you. But I do ask, does this look like a building collapsing?
I know. And all I can say, that is sketchier
Oh,
than a 2 a.m. Waffle House.
that's exactly. Oh, I used to be at Waffle House at 2 a.m. And a hurricane was off the coast of New York that day. I bet you didn't hear that. And of course, there's all kinds of jazz. But I just wanted to end with that to show people why it is that I specifically really question official stories. And anybody all the politicians stick with the original. Hijackers, 19 of them, by the way. That 19 is a big word or big number in the people that go by numbers, numerology people, whatever they're called. There were 19 hijackers, and there were 19 people recently that tried to overthrow something in Venezuela. 19 is a big one.
I see.
For some reason, yeah. Sage Aquay goes over that. I like him.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I don't know anything about 19.
I think he even went over a 19. And Steely Dan's song, Hey 19. I don't know.
That's right.
I mean, hey, it could be. Who knows? But anyhow, that's it. That's why I have been, Dr. Judy says, know what it is that you know that you know. In other words, stick with the knowledge. It's, nice to find out about things like we're trying to do.
Yes, absolutely.
But a lot of things you can't say for sure, like the earth's flat, you're an idiot if you think it's round, or the other way around even. Or the other way around, get it? There's a lot of things that we've just been really indoctrinated into.
Yes, we have. And that's what I'm asking. If you don't agree with any of this, that's great. I just hope that you have an open mind and look at things differently, because I think our government and our finances and the way we're doing things is totally corrupted, and lies, more lies. And we need to get back to Mother Nature and some truth.
That's right. And you know what? In terms of this whole thing with Dr. Judy, they're hiding energy, ladies and gentlemen. What do we depend on here? We depend on the oil and gas companies and even the solar panel manufacturers and all that jazz. This free energy technology happened to be used for evil that day, but it can be used for good. And this is stuff that Tesla had either discovered and back engineered, or he, was involved somehow, but it's like Tesla technology.
Yeah, I don't know. Or it was ancient giant technology that they figured out.
That ties totally into the Tartaria deal with these cathedrals, maybe gathering energy from the ether. All of that ties in with this research.
Yes, they're hoodwinking us, and we need to unravel this a little bit at a time.
Yep, that's what they're doing, is they're hiding energy. And you just think about it. Why wouldn't they want you to know about a UFO program? Even if it's going to like a larger Earth or something different than we call space, or space in a different way. The energy. It's not on oil and gas, So anyhow, I'm done.
I think, this would be a great time to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Lisa. I so enjoy these. You don't even know.
Oh, I'm glad you do. Me too.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess, who takes it out? You do?
I'll try to. Just thanks a lot for watching this, and I will supply that link, and I'm sure G Sharp will supply some links. Just take a look at things, ladies and gentlemen. We're not asking you to change everything you've ever believed in your whole life overnight, but we just want people to think in a different way. That's all. We're just two women on our porch and in our house talking. So I don't think we pose a threat to society. We'll see what YouTube thinks about that.
I know.
No, don't clutch pearls is my advice.
That's right. And, stay frosty.